of all, let me say I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to be here to learn from all of you who have contributed to the development of volunteerism in Singapore. Could I start with a show of hands? How many of you have been volunteering, and how many of you are organizations looking for volunteers? Because some of you can be both, right? Yeah. Okay. First, I'd like to salute you all for your, kind-heartedness to really contribute to what Jack Sim has said, to make meaning in our life. Now, for the last 10 years or so, as some of you may know, I run the NUS Competency Center, through which, among other things, I run an incubator and a seed fund that really help startup company to grow and make money. So like Jack Sim say, we have also reached a point where we feel that there's more to making money than in life. So I've also, therefore, about a year and a half ago, decided to also start a parallel incubator really of social businesses. Businesses that aim to do good, but at the same time recognizing that you need to apply the business method and entrepreneurial approach to be able to do it in a sustainable way and in a scalable way. And we believe that in many social sectors, many social problems, as Professor Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, has said, could be actually solved using the social business method, and it could be solved much more effectively than just depending on handout, because then you're forever dependent. Yeah? So the goal of us setting up the Branding Creative Lab, and one of the reasons why we're supporting Start Now, is because we want to encourage and support Singaporeans and indeed everyone to apply their innovative creativity to think of how to improve the delivery of solutions to social problems using the social business approach. And volunteerism is an example of something that is actually ripe for creative application of innovative thinking. I mean, volunteerism has been with us since times immemorial, but as you can see, until recently, there hasn't been that much innovations in the way we try to make the process more effective. Of course, websites that try to match, volunteers with organizations looking for volunteers have been around for a long time. But I think we have reached a point where, especially for those of you who are from the younger Facebook generations, we recognize that there's a lot more new innovation out there that we could probably creatively apply to improve this process. And in this sense, we are very pleased to find the founders of Start Now with some very good ideas that are to try to maybe push the envelope to do this better. I won't steal the thunder from them because I think they will explain to you some of the innovative features that they will be introducing. But I certainly want to say that clearly this is a worldwide phenomenon. I think some of you may know that in US and Europe there have also been similar attempts to try to apply creative sort of approach. Some of you may have heard of an organization called Catch Fire, for example, which does something somewhat similar to Start Now. But I would imagine that there are other ways in which we can further innovate the process. And I guess in entrepreneurship, we always have to start with the problems. And clearly part of the problem of volunteerism is really providing better matching of the skills and interests of the volunteer with the organizations. And secondly, to allow the organization to better make use of the information to improve their organization and improve their volunteering activities. And at the same time, recognizing that new generations might have a different sort of needs and ways that you can advertise, you can reach out to them. So one simple example of a recent innovation in this area is the idea of applying gamifications, applying the idea of games, right? So one professor in NUS, he has teamed up with NVPC in such a way that, these young school kids, to further motivate them to innovate, to participate in volunteering activities. The idea is that you can play a game, but the only way you can improve your score in the game is you got to accumulate points, and this point you only get by doing volunteering activities. So for every activity you have volunteered, you gain some point. And then with this point now, you can improve, you can move on to the next phase of the game and so on. So that's just a simple example to illustrate how understanding that, as Jack Sim said, you need to be a salesman, you need to be a marketing, you need to find ways to first reach them. And one way to reach them is that they are already playing games, and so perhaps you can make them realize that playing games can actually help you, or rather you can play game better by volunteering. But maybe in the process, when you do more of this volunteering, you realize that, as Jack said, maybe that's more fun than playing the game. But you can't tell them from the beginning, right? So this will be an example of using the kind of innovative sort of technology to help you do this. And I would also think that another kind of innovation is really in trying to use the so-called social network, because people don't like to volunteer just alone, because it's more fun, you bring a friend together, and you're able to also crowdsource people with different skills, either to work together in a team. Very often, in fact, volunteering now should be done in form of a team. And increasingly, you are able to delegate more the actual work if the team are empowered to do things. And team can only develop if you provide them with the tools to actually collaborate and so on. So I just briefly outlined that there are obviously rooms for innovation, and this is not unique to volunteerism. If you look across the whole sector, for example, you can see that the whole idea of crowdsourcing, of so-called smart group, that you really bring people with different ideas together and you provide them with the tools to really collaborate. I believe that some of these successful applications in other areas could probably be applied quite effectively towards volunteerism as well. And lastly, I would just want to say that we constantly need to build close link to the needs of the users. And that's why I believe that an event like this is very good, because the only chance that start now have to succeed is it actually listen to you. What are your problems? What are your needs? How can they actually solve your problem better? So I hope that you can use this forum to try to share your ideas, and then they will be able to benefit and come up with a better solution to serve your needs. On that note, I hope you will enjoy the rest of the discussions, and more importantly, to listen to the launch pitch that they will give about what Start Now will do. Thank you very much.